You touched on supplements a little bit. How
Yeah.
important are they? I mean, is it to the point where almost everybody needs some sort of supplement regime?
You know, in 35 years of working with people, I think that if we're going to optimize the adrenals and optimize hormone function, we're going to give people the fiber and the nutrients, that I think that supplements play a big role in optimum health and nutrition. I mean, I can take two people, put one on a superfoods diet and exercise program and a good power of the mind program, you know, eyes open hypnosis scripts, and I take the other person with the same protocol, but then add certain supplements specific to their potential deficiencies that we've identified based on questionnaires and lab tests and so forth. And I can tell you, without a doubt, the individual taking the supplements with the rest of the regime is going to notice considerably better results and performance. I mean, you can't deny biochemistry, cellular health, nutrition. I mean, we see it under the microscope, we see it in the laboratories, we see it in the hormone levels. And I'll give you a good example. I remember the first time I had my hormones for testosterone checked, and I had a high level of what's called sex hormone binding globulin. That's the transporter of the hormones, but it binds the testosterone, doesn't release it into the system where it needs to go. And I noticed that my testosterone level came back as that of a 70-year-old, and I was only like 38, and I couldn't believe it. I said, I work out, I eat good, I'm in a good mindset. I mean, why is there a decline in interest in sex? Why is my libido dropping, my erectile function declining? So I went about designing a study with a group that had a group of herbs, and they professed that Avena sativa, milky green oats, Epimedium sagittum, which is horny goatweed, and nettles, and there was about 5 other herbs. And at that time, we put them together in some capsules, and we gave a group of men and women these capsules. And I was one of the persons in the study. I designed it, but I wanted to be part of the study too because I was deficient. My hormones levels measured I was deficient. And within 2 weeks, it was 14 days, we rechecked everyone's levels. The testosterone level had optimized, improved dramatically. I mean, my level went from that of a 70-year-old to that of a 20-year-old, and you know, I was 38, and I was encouraged. I noticed the libido came back, sexual interest improved. The women said the same thing. They noticed better libido, better orgasmic intensity. The men noticed better erectile function. And I said, wow, all of that in just 2 weeks. And sure enough, but we were able to document it before and after with hormone levels tested before and after. And the only difference was we changed their supplementation. We didn't change their diet, didn't change, you know, their exercise program, didn't ask them to do any mind power of the mind, anything. It was just supplements. So I see this time and again. New red blood cells form every 120 days. So when we supplement, we see oval-shaped cells or microcytic cells, which are signs of anemia. When we give them B12, folic acid, methylcobalamin, cyanocobalamin, different forms of highly absorbable B12, we give them folic acid, we give them iron, we give them the building blocks that allows the cellular wall to form perfectly. See, the cell walls are like the brain of the body. You see, we know this because when they take the chromosome, the nucleus, out of the center of the cells, that's kind of what we used to think was the genetic brain of the cell. And shockingly, these cells survived after we removed the nucleus. And in studies, then they were given nutrients, and the nutrients, so long as they could get through the phospholipid membrane, the fatty membrane, it would determine what nutrients got inside the cell. And these cells would live for 3 more months or so long as they were surrounded in the right environment with the right fatty acids, the right amino acids, the right complex carbohydrate sugars, the right vitamins and minerals. These cells survived and functioned. And the cells adapted. They continue to function as muscle cells, continue to function as neurological cells. They function without the nucleus, without the chromosome genetic information. So the brain is not the genetics. It's not predetermined by our genetics. The health of your cells is determined by the environment that you put your cells in. So the good thing is, even if you've been dealt a poor card of deck of poor genetics, and you have these genetic tendencies to manifest eventually baldness or obesity or diabetes or cancer, the reality is if you surround your cells and bathe them with whole superfood nutrients, and you give them the right vitamins and minerals and nutrients, and you give them love in the body, and you give them everything, exercise and whole body vibration and and everything that stimulates the lymphatics. And that I haven't even talked about. The lymphatics are more extensive than the red blood cell system. It removes toxins and it brings nutrients, and it's just so important to detoxify with the lymphatics. That's why I do a lot of trampoline work and a lot of bouncing. But all that together, you put that cell in the right environment and it's as healthy and it's going to live forever. I mean, I don't believe yet that we can stimulate the body's stem cells to go to all the places of damage to live forever. But if we can just hang on another 50, 60 years, nanotechnology, and you asked me that question about the future, I think there are ways that we're going to be able to figure out how to create that super environment for our cells, and it's really going to become very basic. It's going to be easier than anyone ever expected. It's not going to be some supercomputer thing. It's going to be something very simple, very close to what I'm talking about. I think we'll look back on a lot what I'm saying from my 35 years experience and go, yeah, he had that pretty well put together, and there's just those few little things left over. Now that's where I'm working on that love component, because I know that's a huge component, and not an easy thing to solve, because we know what we feel love, unconditional love, when we're with a child, you know, our baby, and they're looking into our eyes and they're just sweet and loving. The next thing you know, they're pulling your ear and punching you and stuff, and like, what's that about? Whoa, you know, well, you didn't give me that toy. Whoa, I didn't give you a toy, you know, so you deal with that, right? So love, hate, you know, it goes around, but you got to let go of that hate and anger and hurt and just let the love come through. And somewhere bathing those cells is going to produce the healthiest individuals in the history of mankind.